ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तेर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। Hare Krishna. So very happy and grateful to be here at this wonderful community of devotees. This is called Singapore Township. So very happy to be here. I know Shyam Sundar too. Shyam Sundar was, I think he'll be coming in sometime. So Shyam Sundar has always been telling me about this township. There are so many devotees here staying in such a close proximity. It has always been my desire to see this miracle of Srila Prabhupada, how so many devotees are just staying together and experiencing Krishna consciousness. So I'm very happy that I could actually come here and for this opportunity to serve all of you all in some way. So just some time ago was Gaur Purnima, the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I thought I will share some pastimes from the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Leela. So there's one beautiful pastime that Lochan Das Thakur mentions in Chaitanya Mangal. This pastime shows how Mahaprabhu comes in this world for a particular reason. So when Lord Krishna was in Dwarka, it is explained that Lord Krishna was in the palace of Satyabhama, and Lord Krishna from the palace of Satyabhama he was supposed to go to the palace of Rukmini. So Lord Krishna sent a message to Rukmini that I am coming to your palace. So Rukmini, she was so happy that Krishna is coming to her palace. Rukmini decorated the entire palace so beautifully, and Rukmini, decorated herself, both the best of dress, the children, everyone was ready to welcome Krishna. And finally, when Lord Krishna actually comes to the palace of Rukmini, Rukmini was crying. So Krishna was thinking, "Are Rukmini, you should be happy seeing me. Why are you crying?" So Rukmini tells Lord Krishna, "You will not understand why I am crying. Only Srimati Radharani will understand." So Lord Krishna is in shock because Rukmini is directly telling Lord Krishna that there is one thing that you cannot understand, and that is the heart of Srimati Radharani. And just as Lord Krishna is trying to pacify Rukmini, right at that time Narad Muni comes there. Narad Muni Bajaya Vina Radhika Ramana Nami. So Narad Muni is chanting the glories of the Lord and he appears there. And Lord Krishna sees Narad Muni, and Narad Muni appears a little tensed. He appears a little anxious. So Lord Krishna is asking Narada, "What happened to you today? Why are you so anxious? Generally you are very peaceful." So Narada explains to Lord Krishna, "Now it is Dwarka Leela of yours going on." Dwarka Leela matlab, it is almost the ending of Lord Krishna's pastimes. So Narada tells Lord Krishna, "Now your Dwarka Leela will get over. Very soon your pastime will end, and then Kali Yuga will start." So I am thinking how the people of Kali Yuga will get delivered now that you are not going to be there. how will they get delivered? Because Narad Muni could see all the problems that the people of Kali Yuga would undergo. So that time Lord Krishna tells Narada that I will appear again in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because Mahaprabhu had an internal reason for his appearance and an external reason. The internal reason was, just like Rukmini told Lord Krishna, you cannot understand me, only Radharani can understand. So Lord Krishna tells Narada, I will come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in the color of Srimati Radharani and in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in order to understand what the heart and bhakti of Radharani is. So this is the internal reason of Mahaprabhu's appearance. Shri Radhara Bhava Ebe Gaura Avatar. Vasudev Ghosh in his bhajan explains, he is the same Krishna but who's come in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Krishna wants to study the heart of Radharani. This is the internal reason. And the external reason is, Narada had this concern that how will people of Kali Yuga get delivered? So Lord Krishna says, I will come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I will distribute Krishna Prem, Naam Sankirtan to everyone. So Mahaprabhu is the Yuga avatar, come to give all of us the holy names of Krishna. Vasudev Ghosh in his bhajan he explains, Shri Radhara Bhave Ebe Gaura Avatar, Hare Krishna Naam Gaura Karila Prachar. So Mahaprabhu is come in the mood of Radharani, and the mission of Mahaprabhu is to deliver everyone by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. So in Kali Yuga, the only way we can actually experience deliverance is by the process of Nama Sankirtan. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. There is no other way one can be delivered in Kali Yuga except chanting of the holy names. And Mahaprabhu's avatar is one of the most merciful avatars. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Sabhavatara Sarashiromani, Kevala Ananda Kanda. Lochan Das Thakur in his bhajan he explains, Mahaprabhu's avatar, Gaur Nitai are the most merciful avatar because they have given something that no previous avatar has given. All the previous avatars of the Lord have given mukti, but none of the avatars of Krishna has given anyone Krishna Prem. So this Krishna Prem, which is very very rare, is given only by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, when Rupa Goswami meets Mahaprabhu at Prayag, and Mahaprabhu is giving everyone Krishna Prem freely, Rupa Goswami makes this beautiful verse, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Krishna Namaha. So Mahaprabhu is the most magnanimous. He is giving everyone Krishna Prem, which is very rare even from Brahma and Shiva to get. Mahaprabhu is freely distributing it to anyone and everyone. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a small child in Navadvipa performing his pastimes, one time a dog came to their house and this mother dog gave birth to a lot of puppies. And Mahaprabhu was a small child, Nimai Pandit. He got very attached to a puppy. Generally children get attached to little dogs. No? So Mahaprabhu got very attached to this puppy and told his mother that this is my puppy, I will bring this dog inside. Sachi Mata said, Are we are Brahmanas. Brahmanas don't bring dogs inside. Don't touch dog. Mahaprabhu became very angry. Mahaprabhu said, don't call this dog. This is my pet puppy. So Sachi Mata said, whatever doing, keep it outside the house. So Mahaprabhu goes to take bath along with his friends. And by the time Mahaprabhu comes, what had happened was Sachi Mata left that dog away. She was also very intelligent. She left that puppy away. So Mahaprabhu was feeling a lot of separation from this puppy. Where is my puppy? Where is my puppy? The Chaitanya Bhagavat explains, just because Mahaprabhu embraced this puppy dog, started to raise two of its legs, go to the streets of Navadvipa and was chanting Hare Krishna. Developed symptoms of Krishna Prem, and this dog left its body, got its spiritual body and went to the spiritual world. So this is Mahaprabhu's Leela. Mahaprabhu is so very merciful. Jagadanand Pandit, one of the associates of Mahaprabhu, explains a very beautiful story. One time when Mahaprabhu and Jagadanand Pandit were returning back from school, Mahaprabhu would go to his school, Gangadas Pandit Pathshala. While they were returning back, there was one cowherd boy. This particular pastime happens in a place called Navadvipa, one of the islands. So there was one cowherd boy called Gopal. So this boy comes and tells Mahaprabhu that you are my brother. Mahaprabhu tells him, when did I become your brother? He says, no, your mother considers my mother to be sister, so therefore we are like brothers. And this Gopal says, we are all cowherd boys, cowherd family. You come to my house, my mother has called you. My mother has made a lot of special sweets for you, Rasgulla Sandesh. So Mahaprabhu said, let's go. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath Pandit and this boy Gopal, we are going to this boy's house. They come across a lake. And in this lake, what they see is cows are going to drink water, but the cows are very, very scared. The cows are, shouting very, very loudly. They are very, very fearful. So Mahaprabhu is asking this boy Gopal, why is the cows behaving like this? So this Gopal says, there is one crocodile in this lake, and the cows are very fearful of this crocodile. So Mahaprabhu does Sankirtan and goes to this lake, and hearing the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu, this crocodile actually comes out. And this crocodile comes and touches the feet of Mahaprabhu. As soon as he touches the feet of Mahaprabhu, this crocodile assumes a celestial body. He gets a divine, heavenly body, 5-year-old boy. And this boy, celestial boy, starts to speak. He says, actually I was there in the heaven. One day I was playing in the heaven, and there was one sadhu who was lying down under a tree. I want to cut his hair. After that I came to know that this sadhu is Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa cursed me, you become like a crocodile. So this boy started to plead to Durvasa, please forgive me. And Durvasa told him, you become a crocodile, but you become a crocodile in Navadvipa. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, you will get delivered. So Jagannath Pandit mentions in his book the story that how Mahaprabhu was so very merciful, Mahaprabhu gave deliverance to so many people in this world. So what are Mahaprabhu's pastimes are unlimited, the childhood pastimes, Navadvipa pastimes. So I try to share something, the pastimes of Mahaprabhu after he becomes a devotee. So we all know Mahaprabhu, the initial few years, he was not showing himself as a Vaishnava. When he became almost 17 years old, when his elder brother Vishwarup passed away, Mahaprabhu goes to Gaya to do Pindadan for his father, because his father also passed away. His elder brother had taken sannyas, his father had passed away. So Mahaprabhu goes to do Pindadan for his father Jagannath Mishra. And in Gaya he meets Ishwarapuri. He gets Diksha from Ishwarapuri. And after getting Diksha from Ishwarapuri, Mahaprabhu is experiencing symptoms of Krishna Prem. So it is explained when Mahaprabhu comes back to Navadvipa, after this whole yatra, experiencing Krishna Prem, Mahaprabhu is a completely different personality. That Nimai Pandit who would argue and defeat anyone, that Nimai Pandit is gone. Mahaprabhu continuously is just crying for Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna. So when Mahaprabhu comes back, all the people of Navadvipa feel Mahaprabhu has gone mad. Probably some ghost has entered his body, or this fellow has gone crazy. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Srivas Thakur, and he's telling Srivas Thakur, I want a suggestion, I want a feedback from you. So Srivas Thakur says, what do you want? So Mahaprabhu is telling Srivas, everyone considers me a madman. Everyone thinks I've got disease. Do you think I have disease? So Srivas Thakur is asking Mahaprabhu, what are the symptoms of your disease? So Mahaprabhu says, the symptoms of my disease is, whenever I chant Hare Krishna, tears come from my eyes. There is hair standing on hand. I completely go mad whenever I chant Hare Krishna. So Srivas Thakur says, yes, you have a disease. And Srivas Thakur says, I also want that disease. The name of the disease is Krishna Prem. And Srivas Thakur says, outside people will not understand, only pure devotees will understand. So my suggestion to you is, please do Kirtan in my house. From that point on, the Kirtan in Srivas Thakur's house, Srivas Angan Kirtan starts. When Mahaprabhu was 17 years old, till the point when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, 24 years old, for 7-8 years, Mahaprabhu's center, preaching center was the house of Srivas Thakur. You are in Singapore township, you have a preaching center here, Krishna's given all of you. But Mahaprabhu's, the whole start of this Krishna conscious movement was where? In the house of Srivas Thakur. So in one sense that is the birthplace of the entire Krishna conscious movement. So Srivas Thakur was such a great soul. Being a Grihastha, he had actually opened his house for the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in a song, Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichu More Arpitu Tuva Pade Nanda Kishore. This is the mood of surrender, that whatever you have, you offer it in the service of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu had such beautiful grihasthas who were so exalted. Srivas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, they were grihasthas, but their entire house was open for all the Vaishnavas. So this house of Srivas Thakur became the pastime place of Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. And Mahaprabhu would do all sorts of pastimes in the house of Srivas Thakur. Just like in Lord Krishna's pastimes, the topmost of Lord Krishna's pastime is Ras Leela. And the topmost place is Vamshivat, the Ras Thali. That same Ras Leela comes in Gaur Leela as Sankirtan Leela. And the same Ras Thali, where Lord Krishna performed Ras Leela, in Gaur Leela becomes Srivas Angan. So Srivas Angan is such an important place for all the Vaishnavas. So Mahaprabhu would do Kirtan day and night in Srivas Angan, and they would have many pastimes in Srivas Angan. One time, as Mahaprabhu was doing his Kirtan, the son of Srivas Thakur passed away. Srivas Thakur had a family, he had a son who passed away. And all the ladies in the house were crying. Srivas Thakur went and told the ladies, stop crying. Because if you are crying, Mahaprabhu hears, he will stop his Kirtan. And I don't want to cause any disturbance to Mahaprabhu's Kirtan. So Srivas Thakur is telling, now these ladies, they are already in suffering, the son is gone. Now Srivas Thakur is given another warning. Again the ladies start to cry a little. Because ladies are naturally, mothers are very attached. So Srivas Thakur comes and tells the ladies, next time you cry, I will go and commit suicide. So the ladies are scared, no? Son is gone, now husband also will go, what will happen? So somehow they control themselves. Mahaprabhu is doing his Kirtan, and in between Mahaprabhu stops the Kirtan. And he's asking Srivas, I'm not feeling that kind of emotion today. I'm not experiencing love of Krishna. Is something gone wrong in your house? So Srivas Thakur says, my dear Lord, where there is Sankirtan going on, when you are present, how can anything go wrong? This was the faith of Srivas Thakur. He doesn't tell Mahaprabhu that the son is dead. Mahaprabhu is again doing Kirtan for hours and hours. And again Mahaprabhu is stopping Kirtan, asking Srivas, anything wrong? Srivas says, nothing wrong. Some devotee finally comes and tells Mahaprabhu, the son of Srivas is dead. Mahaprabhu is so touched that Srivas didn't even tell Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu goes and revives the son of Srivas. And the son of Srivas tells Mahaprabhu that I have had many fathers and mothers, but this life of mine is so successful. I have got the opportunity to be born in the house of Srivas, and I got that opportunity to witness all your pastimes. My life is perfect. Saying this, he goes away. So Mahaprabhu is so touched by this pastime, this surrender of Srivas Thakur. Mahaprabhu tells Srivas Thakur, my dear Srivas, I am completely sold out to you. Mahaprabhu tells Srivas, in your house, even servants and dogs in your house are very dear to me. One time, Mahaprabhu was testing Srivas Thakur. See, just like I told you, the house of Srivas Thakur was completely open for Vaishnavas. Nityananda Prabhu, the time he joined Navadvipa Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Nityananda Prabhu would stay in Srivas Thakur's house only. Mahaprabhu had a house to stay, Nityananda didn't have a house to stay. So where he would stay? He would stay in the house of Srivas. So one time Mahaprabhu came to Srivas and said, Srivas, why are you keeping Nityananda in your house? No one knows what is his caste. No one knows where he is born. Achyut guy, you send him out of your house. Srivas Thakur says, my dear Lord, Nityananda, Balaramji, what to speak of Nityananda? Even an ordinary Vaishnava is so worshipable, my house is completely open for them. So Mahaprabhu at that time says, Srivas, you have such kind of surrender. Even if a time comes when Lakshmi will have to take a begging bowl and beg in the streets, even if Lakshmi, this can never happen, but even if a time comes when Lakshmi will have to beg in the streets, in your house there will not be any shortage. This is my promise. And Mahaprabhu says, anyone who is connected to you, my dear Srivas, I guarantee that such a person will be delivered. So when Mahaprabhu was performing all these pastimes, with Srivas Thakur. One time Srivas Thakur goes to a katha, a Bhagavad katha of a very famous kathakar called Devanand Pandit. Devanand Pandit was very expert in speaking Bhagavatam, but he was not a pure devotee. He would speak Bhagavatam from the Mayavad point of view, impersonal point of view, that we are all Krishna and all that. But Srivas Thakur was so innocent, he just wanted to hear Bhagavad. He would go and sit at the back and hear Bhagavad. So one time when Srivas Thakur was hearing Bhagavad from Devanand Pandit, he started to experience symptoms of ecstasy, Krishna praying, just by hearing Krishna's pastimes, and he fainted in the class. The disciples of Devanand Pandit thought Srivas Thakur is a disturbance. So the disciples of Devanand Pandit, with the permission of Devanand Pandit, took Srivas and threw him on the road. And Srivas Thakur, he gets up from his ecstasy, he sees that he's on the road. But Srivas Thakur was such a humble soul, he didn't go and fight with Devanand Pandit. He doesn't do anything. He just comes back to his house quietly. Even though he felt a little bad, he doesn't tell anyone. This is a very, very important principle. You know, in Krishna consciousness, many times when something goes wrong in our life or some devotee does something bad to us, we are so used to making it public. We want to just keep speaking and speaking. Srivas Thakur doesn't do it. He just keeps quiet. He doesn't tell anyone, no family members, nothing. He doesn't even go and tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though Krishna was personally present, he never complained to Mahaprabhu. So it is explained that because Srivas Thakur had this kind of mood, he was insulted, but he tolerated that insult. The result was, whenever he would read Bhagavad, whenever he would sit to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Jagannath so whenever he would read Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahaprabhu would personally enter into his heart and give him that experience of love, the experience of happiness. So Mahaprabhu reveals this to Srivas during the Mahaprakash Leela. So this is a very, very important principle. You see, in life, everything has a price. There is nothing that comes free of cost. Everything has a price. If you want to experience love by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, if you want to experience Krishna Prem, the price is Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Sahishnana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanina Sadhana. This is the price. If you are ready to be tolerant, if you are ready to tolerate, or if you are ready to be humble, then the result is, this is what you will experience. You will experience love for Krishna. Like Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Haridas Thakur, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas and came to Jagannath Puri, Haridas Thakur in 1-2 years later he came to Jagannath Puri. And Haridas Thakur stayed till the end of his life. Literally like 18 years, probably 18-20 years, Haridas stayed in Jagannath Puri. Not once he went inside Jagannath temple. Can you imagine? House just next to Jagannath temple, but never went into the temple. And he never had any complaints that people are not allowing me. No complaints at all. Very happy, satisfied. Because he had this kind of mood, the same Jagannath as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come every day to meet Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, whenever he would chant, he would experience so much love for Krishna. So this is a very, very important principle. When difficulties come in life, even in a circle of devotees, when there is some sort of clash or some sort of misunderstanding, it's very important that we follow this principle of tolerance. By following this, Krishna will fill our heart with so much love and so much ecstasy. But the Chaitanya Bhagavad explains, Srivas Thakur was unaffected. Mahaprabhu took care of Srivas Thakur. But Devanand Pandit, because he did an offense to such a great devotee, Devanand Pandit, even though he was reading Bhagavatam, he was not experiencing anything. Even though he was giving classes of Bhagavatam, it was completely dry, he was not experiencing anything. So one time, Rakreshwar Pandit, another great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes to meet Devanand Pandit and somehow he tells Devanand Pandit the glories of Mahaprabhu, the glories of Srivas Thakur. And Chaitanya Bhagavad explains, Devanand Pandit started to develop some love for Rakreshwar Pandit. He started to serve Rakreshwar Pandit. And by the association of Rakreshwar Pandit, Devanand Pandit gradually becomes a devotee. And finally, he comes to Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu tells Devanand Pandit, you please seek forgiveness from Srivas Thakur. And by seeking forgiveness from Srivas Thakur, Devanand Pandit again became a very great Vaishnava. So this principle is always there. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi. If you want mercy of Krishna, it always comes to the mercy of a devotee. Anytime we offend a devotee, the mercy is completely lost. As Mahaprabhu was performing pastimes in the house of Srivas Thakur, there was one Brahmana. His name was Gopal Chapal. This Brahmana was very envious because Mahaprabhu and his associates, they wouldn't give entry to everyone. Only pure devotees were allowed inside. Even Brahmanas were not allowed. So the Brahmanas of Navadvipa became very envious. What are these devotees thinking about themselves? So Gopal Chapala, in order to spoil the name of Srivas Thakur, outside the house of Srivas Thakur, he kept meat, wine and all these things. And he started to spread the news that these devotees, in the night, they lock themselves, and what they are doing in the night is, they are eating meat, drinking wine, associating with women. This is what he spread. This is happening in the house of Srivas Thakur. But Srivas Thakur, again in this pastime, he doesn't do anything to correct his name. His name is getting spoiled and nothing completely, but Srivas Thakur is just tolerating it. The result is Gopal Chapala, he gets leprosy. Kushtarog. His entire body is melted. He is experiencing so much pain and suffering. When Mahaprabhu, after sannyas, 10 years later, when Mahaprabhu comes to Navadvipa, a place called Kolandri, Gopal Chapala comes to Mahaprabhu and tells Mahaprabhu, please forgive me. No, please, give your mercy so that I am free from the disease. So Mahaprabhu is so angry. Mahaprabhu tells Gopal Chapala, you will have to suffer in hell unlimitedly because you have offended Srivas Thakur. And Mahaprabhu tells the only way you can get delivered is seek the blessings of Srivas. So Gopal Chapala seeks the blessings of Srivas, and Srivas anyway is very, very compassionate. He forgives Gopal Chapala, and Gopal Chapala becomes a very great Vaishnava. So one time when Mahaprabhu was performing all these pastimes at the house of Srivas Thakur, one day Mahaprabhu comes and sits on the Vishnu Simhasan in the house of Srivas Thakur. Because Srivas Thakur, he had Shaligram Shilas in his house. So Mahaprabhu, he came, took the Shaligram Shilas on his lap, and he sat on the throne of Vishnu. Generally, Mahaprabhu would never call himself Vishnu. Anyone would call him Vishnu, he would close his eyes and say, I am not Vishnu, I am only a devotee of Krishna, I am a servant of Krishna. But this particular pastime, for 21 hours, Satta Pranavya Leela, for 21 hours, Mahaprabhu sitting on the throne of Vishnu, and Mahaprabhu is fulfilling the desires of all his devotees. And in these pastimes, Mahaprabhu calls each of his devotee and reveals something special to such devotees. Mahaprabhu calls Haridas Thakur and tells Haridas Thakur, my dear Haridas, when you were beaten in 22 marketplaces by the Muslims, that time I actually sent the Sudarshan Chakra. Because when Haridas Thakur was being beaten, Mahaprabhu's avatar had not happened. Mahaprabhu was still in the spiritual world. Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya are almost like 30 years senior to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu tells from Vaikuntha I left the Sudarshan Chakra. But Haridas, your prayer for forgiveness was so strong, even my Sudarshan couldn't do anything. And Mahaprabhu tells Haridas, that time the only option for me was, I covered your body with my body. And Mahaprabhu showed the back, his own back to Haridas. Those whip marks were in the back of Mahaprabhu. And Haridas had tears in his eyes. Mahaprabhu, you have so much love for your devotees. In this way, Mahaprabhu was literally fulfilling the desires of all his devotees. Mahaprabhu called Murari Gupta and told Murari Gupta, just see what I have become. And Mahaprabhu had become Ram. And he told Murari Gupta, see what has happened to you. And Murari Gupta had become Hanumanji. So this is beautiful pastime. One time Mahaprabhu comes to Murari Gupta and tells Murari Gupta, my dear Murari, the name of Krishna is more powerful than the name of Ram. Please chant the name of Krishna. Mahaprabhu tells this to Murari. So Murari Gupta next day in the morning he meets Mahaprabhu and tells Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, I just want to end my life because I am not able to follow your instructions. I tried the whole night to chant Krishna's names, but from my mouth only Ram's names are coming. I am not able to chant Krishna's name, I am not able to follow your instructions, let me just die. Mahaprabhu says, I was just testing you. You are Hanuman, a great devotee of Lord Ram. So this way Mahaprabhu showed that he is Lord Ram also. Right? He is Krishna, he is Ram, he is everything. So in this way Mahaprabhu was fulfilling the desires of all his devotees. So in this Mahaprakash Leela, Mahaprabhu tells the devotees, please go and call Sridhar Kolavecha. So the devotees had never heard the name of Sridhar. So the devotees were thinking, who is the Sridhar? Mahaprabhu tells, no, he has a house there in Simantar Reed, go and call him. So the devotees go and call Sridhar Kolavecha there. And Mahaprabhu is asking Sridhar, my dear Sridhar, what do you want? I am ready to give you anything. I am ready to make you the most richest person in this world. Sridhar says, I don't want it. Mahaprabhu tells Sridhar, I will make you the king of heaven, Swarga. Sridhar says, I don't want. Mahaprabhu says, I give you liberation. Sridhar says, I don't want that also. The only prayer Sridhar Kolavecha is asking Mahaprabhu is, my dear Lord, birth after birth, may I remember the childhood form of yours as Nimai Pandit. Because Mahaprabhu would go every day to the house of Sridhar and bargain with him, spend time with him. Sridhar Kolavecha was a Granastha, but so detached. He had one set of clothes, so many holes in that cloth. He had a house in which there were so many holes. But still Sridhar was so very satisfied. So Mahaprabhu through Sridhar Kolavecha is showing all of us that what is most important is to be satisfied in life. Real wealth in life is satisfaction. In the Ramayana you have the example of Ravana. Ravana had so much, still he was never satisfied. So for one who experiences satisfaction with Krishna, such a person can be the most happy. So in this way Mahaprabhu in this Mahaprakash Leela, he is glorifying all his devotees. So when Mahaprabhu is giving mercy to all the devotees like this, Mahaprabhu doesn't give mercy to his own mother, Sachi Mata. So the devotees go and tell Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, why are you not giving mercy to your mother? Mahaprabhu says, no, my mother is an aparadhi. The devotees are shocked. How can Sachi Mata do any offense? So Mahaprabhu says, no, she did one offense. She did an offense to Advaita Acharya. Because Mahaprabhu had an elder brother, Vishnudu. And Vishnudu would regularly go to the Bhagavatam classes, satsang of Advaita Acharya. And by hearing the satsang of Advaita Acharya, gradually Vishnudu developed, symptoms of renunciation, and he gradually renounced the house. So Sachi Mata, she was very angry at Advaita Acharya. Because Advaita took her son away, and Sachi Mata was worried that this Advaita will take the second son also. Right? So Sachi Mata, she doesn't tell anyone, but in her heart she was thinking, Advaita is not Advaita, he is Dvaita. He's playing double role, he's a very cunning guy. Like this she was thinking. So Mahaprabhu says, I will not give mercy even to my mother. So this is a very instructive pastime. That even if you are that elevated to be the mother of Mahaprabhu, the mother of Krishna, still if you offend the Vaishnavas, that mercy is withdrawn. That mercy is not there. So the devotees ask Mahaprabhu, how can she get mercy? So Mahaprabhu says, only way she has to get forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. So all the devotees go to Shantipur, the house of Advaita Acharya. And all the devotees go and tell Advaita Acharya, please give mercy to Sachi Mata, she has offended you. Advaita Acharya is thinking, how can Sachi Mata offend me? So Advaita Acharya, just by remembering Sachi Mata, he goes in so much ecstasy, he just falls unconscious. And Sachi Mata takes the dust of Advaita Acharya, and Mahaprabhu says, okay, now you are forgiven. Right? And this way Mahaprabhu gives mercy to Sachi Mata. So one time when Mahaprabhu was performing pastimes at Srivas Thakur, there was one particular brahmachari, very renounced brahmachari, very great vairagi, he would just drink milk or he would just eat some leaves. Very great renounced person. So this brahmachari came to Srivas and told Srivas, my dear Srivas, please allow me entry into Srivas Angam, your house. I want to see Mahaprabhu's kirtan. So Srivas Thakur had a lot of, his heart was very soft. So he told, okay, come inside. Even though you are not allowed, I will give you space. And Srivas Thakur put him inside a basket. Inside this basket, you see Mahaprabhu's kirtan. So Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan. And as Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan, again he stopped the kirtan and said, Srivas, I am not experiencing symptoms of Krishna prem. Is there anyone here who should not be there? Is there any outsider here? Srivas Thakur initially tells Mahaprabhu, my dear Mahaprabhu, there is no atheist here. Everyone is like good people. He doesn't reveal Mahaprabhu directly. Mahaprabhu says again, there is someone here who should not be here. And Srivas Thakur removes that basket and this brahmachari comes out. And Mahaprabhu looking at this brahmachari, Mahaprabhu is so angry. Mahaprabhu is telling this brahmachari, what do you think? Just by vairagya, you can achieve Krishna prem, you can see me? No. Mahaprabhu is telling this brahmachari a very important principle. It is not through jnana, not through vairagya, not through yoga that one can see me. This shloka, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam. Nasteva, 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 this is Kanyata. What is the meaning of Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva mean? Why 3 times? That means you cannot see Krishna through Gyan, through Yoga, through Karma. You can see Krishna only through Bhakti, no other way. Prema Jana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Lord Krishna time and again is explaining this principle that only through Bhakti one can see Krishna, not through any other way. Mahaprabhu, in front of all the devotees, chastises this brahmachari so much and Mahaprabhu tells him, get out. Now imagine yourself in the position of this brahmachari. This brahmachari came with like genuine intention to see the Kirtan of Mahaprabhu. It was not that he had like wrong intentions. But Mahaprabhu chastised them and sent him away. What this brahmachari goes out and thinks is something that's very important for us to meditate on. This brahmachari, after he is thrown out, insulted very badly, he goes and sits out and he starts to think, yes, what Mahaprabhu said was correct. Even though it was very harsh, but what he said was correct. I am not a pure devotee. The other devotees are so great, they have so much symptoms of ecstasy, they are so happy. I am not happy like them. And this brahmachari was feeling that actually Mahaprabhu is correct. Mahaprabhu was actually shown my position. And this brahmachari was feeling so, one thing he was feeling very humble. And second, he was feeling very grateful. He was thinking that even though I am not qualified, at least for a few minutes, I got to see Mahaprabhu's Kirtan, was very, very happy. When Mahaprabhu, because he is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, when Mahaprabhu connected to what this brahmachari is thinking, Mahaprabhu told Srivas, call this brahmachari inside, now he is qualified to see. What was his qualification? All the tapasya that he did, it did impress Mahaprabhu. All that vairagya did impress Mahaprabhu. What impressed Mahaprabhu was his humility and his gratitude. And the mood that we were explaining of not complaining. This brahmachari could have complained what this Mahaprabhu thinks about himself. He could have had all these negative moods. But he took it in a very beautiful spirit. So this is something that we need to remember time and again. Many times we get chastised without any reason, without anything. But still, how do we take it is a very important way which will determine whether we are going to achieve the mercy of Krishna or not. When Mahaprabhu was doing his Rath-yatra pastimes in Jagannath Puri, and when Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of Jagannath, there were 3 circles, devotees were protecting him. One circle, Nityananda and all the associates were there. The second circle, Srivas Thakur, and all the devotees were there. And in the third circle, the king of Odisha, Pratap Rudra, his ministers and soldiers were working in the third circle. So, when Mahaprabhu was doing dancing, his dancing was so graceful. King Pratap Rudra wanted to see Mahaprabhu's dance. But the problem was, right in front of right in front of the king was Srivas Thakur. And because Srivas Thakur was so engrossed in seeing the Kirtan, the king couldn't see. So the king had a minister, Harichandan. So this Harichandan pushed Srivas a little and told Srivas, please go this side. The king is at the back of you, he is seeing the Kirtan, dancing of Mahaprabhu. But Srivas Thakur is so absorbed, he didn't know only who is there, king, no king, he was in a different world only. So he was not bothered. So one time, 2 times Harichandan pushed. Srivas Thakur became very angry. Because this guy is disturbing me, I am not able to see. So Srivas Thakur turned at the back and slapped Harichandan. Slap the minister of the king is not a king. Not an ordinary thing, and that too in front of everyone. Rath Yatra time, lakhs of people, literally in front of lakhs of people, he slapped the king's minister. Harichandan, he lost it. He became so angry, he was supposed to shout at Srivas Tagore. But Pratapputra Maharaj controls Harichandan and tells him, "You are very fortunate. You have got the slap of Srivas. I am not fortunate, I didn't get this message." So this is the mood that the king had. Therefore, finally we see that during the Rath Yatra pastime, when Mahaprabhu is lying down, Mahaprabhu shows mercy to the king. So cultivating this kind of mood is important. Srila Prabhupada in the preface of Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada mentions this sentence. Very, very important sentence. The advancement of a devotee in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So how much advancement we make also depends on the mood in which we see difficulties that come in life, see chastisements that come in life. In this way, Mahaprabhu, through this brahmachari, is instructing all of us to cultivate the spirit of being grateful, cultivate the spirit of being humble, and cultivate the spirit of not complaining, taking everything in a very positive way. Brahmaji in his prayers he explains, Tatte anukampa tu sumikshamano Bhujana evam kritam vipakam Rilvad upubir vidatan namaste Jivet yo mukti sadhaiva. If you want to achieve Krishna, there's one thing we can do. Anything that comes in life, say a thank you. Whatever comes in life. Bhagavatam, Vidura's story. Vidura gave his entire life to the kingdom of Hastinapur. Duryodhan chastised Vidura so much. In front of everyone, Duryodhan is telling Vidura, you are a dog in our house. Get out. Get out of the palace with only your clothes and your breath, nothing else. Vidura was hurt, but Vidura was thinking good. Vidura was thinking, thank you to Duryodhan. It is because of Duryodhan, Vidura could go for Tirth Yatra everywhere. He could meet Uddhava, he could meet Maitreya Rishi. So every situation that comes in life, especially situations that bring us difficulties, someone chastises us, some curses in life, we need to understand that there is a better and a bigger purpose revealing in some time. If we take it in right spirits. The Ramayana, very soon is Ram Navami, coming Sunday. The Ramayana you have this pastime, when Lord Ram was 16 years old, Dasharatha Maharaj was planning for the marriage of Lord Ram. The whole discussion was happening with the ministers, we have to get Ram married now. Right at that time, Vishwamitra comes. And Vishwamitra tells Dasharatha, you have some plan, I have some plan. You are thinking of Ram's marriage, I am thinking of taking Ram with me to kill Marichal Subahu. So Dasharatha, this thing comes all of a sudden. Dasharatha is not able to see Vishwamitra in the right light. So Dasharatha was thinking, this Vishwamitra is my enemy. He is come to trouble me. And Dasharatha is trying to tell Vishwamitra, don't take Ram, he is only a 16-year-old boy. I will come to fight Marichal Subahu. Vishwamitra says, if you want to give Ram, otherwise I am going. So that time Vashishta, who is the guru of Dasharatha, tells Dasharatha, sending Ram with Vishwamitra is for the good of Ram only. Because Vishwamitra is not an ordinary person. He has all celestial knowledge. Ram will gain all this. Vishwamitra will give all this to Ram. Because Dasharatha sent Ram with Vishwamitra, Vishwamitra gave all this knowledge to Ram. Not only that, it is Vishwamitra who got Ram married to Sita Devi. So the point is, any situation that comes in life, when we learn to see it in the right perspective, that same situation, someone whom we think is an enemy, Dasharatha considered Vishwamitra an enemy. Right? So any situation or anyone whom we think is an enemy is actually our friend. Because especially for devotees, whatever happens in a devotee's life is for our own betterment. Another very important pastime explaining the same principle. That when difficulties come in life, it is for our own good, it is for our own growth. When Mahaprabhu was doing Sankirtan in Srivas Angan, one time the Brahmanas of Navadvipa, they all went and complained to the local magistrate. His name was Chand Kazi. They went and told him, this Nimai Pandit and this group, they are spoiling full Vaishnava Hindu Dharma. Their complaint was, the names of God should not be chanted by anyone. Their logic was, according to scriptures, only pure people should chant Hare Krishna. That means no one should chant Hare Krishna. That was the rule. Only pure people should chant. Right? So they went and complained to Qazi. Now this Qazi is a Muslim guy. He is already envious of Hindus. So the Qazi sent his soldiers and they gave warning to the devotees. Close your center. No more Sankirtan. If we see you all doing Sankirtan, we will arrest all of you. So the devotees became very scared. Mahaprabhu says, nothing doing, keep doing Sankirtan. And the devotees were continuing Sankirtan. Chand Qazi comes again. And he takes that murdak and breaks it. And tells the devotees, next time you all do it, we will arrest all of you. Mahaprabhu becomes so angry. Mahaprabhu tells the devotees, now we will go out. Let us go out and let us protest against this. By the word of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's influence was so much, 2 lakh people assembled. The Chand Qazi was thinking this Hare Krishna people are like 15-20 guys, he will just push them down. Then Mahaprabhu announced that let us go out, Nagar Sankirtan. Protesting what Chand Qazi said, 2 lakh people came. And they all had mashal in their hands, Hare Krishna Mahamantra banners and things like that, and they were doing kirtan and going out, chanting. The Chaitanya Bhagavat explains that demigods also started to participate in this kirtan. And everyone was chanting Hare Krishna. The Muslims started to join. And along with chanting Hare Krishna, they all were chanting, kill the Qazi, kill the Qazi. And Mahaprabhu's kirtan goes out like this. So this is the same point that I was trying to tell. Here, Chand Qazi came to create a big disturbance, a big challenge. The whole Sankirtan movement was supposed to close. The whole center was supposed to close. But because it was by the mercy of Chand Qazi, the Sankirtan came out on the street. Before Chand Qazi came, the Sankirtan was only inside Srivas Angan. It is the mercy of Chand Qazi that the Sankirtan came out. So whenever, especially the Sankirtan movement, whenever obstacles come, we need to understand that it's time for the Sankirtan to go to the next level. It's time for it to grow. So Mahaprabhu goes to Chand Qazi and everyone is chanting Hare Krishna and chanting kill the Qazi, kill the Qazi. And Chand Qazi is so scared, like a rat is hiding inside the house. And Mahaprabhu tells Chand Qazi, come out. So and then Mahaprabhu and Chand Qazi have a long discussion. This is the first interfaith discussion. Mahaprabhu speaking the principles of Gita from Vedic Dharma and Chand Qazi is quoting from Quran. And the first question Mahaprabhu is asking Chand Qazi is, what kind of religion where you kill your own mother? Cow is your mother, but why are you killing the cow? This is the first question that Mahaprabhu is asking Chand Qazi. When Srila Prabhupada, every time he would meet a Christian minister, Prabhupada invariably would come to this question. Prabhupada would bring this point down. Cow is the mother. Why do you all kill cows? So this is what Mahaprabhu is discussing. And then Mahaprabhu tells Chand Qazi that you are all chanting the names of God. Why are you stopping? So Chand Qazi at that point tells Mahaprabhu, from now on, none of my people will stop you. In fact, Chand Qazi says, the day I broke the murdak and came back home, one very powerful person came and sat on my chest. He was half man, half lion. And with his nails he started to tear my chest. And Chand Qazi showed his chest. The marks of Narsingadev was still there. Narsingadev Bhagavan ki jai. So Narsingadev is always there to protect Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. So in this way Chand Qazi becomes a Vaishnava. Who is Chand Qazi? Chand Qazi is Kamsa in Krishna Leela. The same Kamsa in Krishna Leela comes as Chand Qazi. Krishna killed Kamsa, but Mahaprabhu is so merciful. Mahaprabhu didn't kill Kamsa. He made Kamsa Chand Qazi into a Vaishnava. And his samadhi is still there. And devotees go and take blessings of Chand Qazi. One time, Mahaprabhu, when he was in Navadvipa, he started to chant, Pundarik my father, Pundarik my father. The devotees were thinking, who is this Pundarik? Probably devotees thought that Mahaprabhu was referring to Krishna. But one of the names of Krishna is Pundarikaksha. So the devotees were thinking, probably he is calling out to Krishna, Krishna my father, Krishna my father. And Mahaprabhu continuously chanting like this, oh my father, Pundarik, where are you? So that time the devotees asked Mahaprabhu, who is this Pundarik? So Mahaprabhu says, good, you are asking about him. Just by hearing about Pundarik, one becomes completely pure. Mahaprabhu says this Pundarik is such a great soul. He is not an ordinary man. He has so much love for Krishna. Another name of Pundarik was Prem Nidhi, one who is filled with love of Krishna. And Mahaprabhu tells tells the devotees that Pundarik, he has so much love for Ganga, so much respect for Ganga. Pundarik would never go to take bath in Ganga. He never put his feet also in Ganga. Because he was feeling Ganga is Charnamrit for Vishnu, he wouldn't even put his feet. When Pundarik would see people washing their clothes in Ganga, he would feel very pained. Pundarik would go when no one is there, drink some drops of Ganga and come back. Mahaprabhu tells the devotees, Pundarik, he stays in a place called Chattagram in Bangladesh, but very soon Pundarik is going to come to Modi. And just as Mahaprabhu predicted, very soon Pundarik, with all his disciples, he comes to Modi. But the devotees couldn't understand Pundarik. Because Pundarik, externally, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was appearing like an ordinary person, a materialistic person. Just like Krishna, you may not be able to see, understand it with eyes until you have that kind of vision, that kind of bhakti. Similarly, great devotees of the Lord, you can never understand who a great devotee is just by your vision. You need mercy even to understand a great devotee. So when Pundarik Vidyanidhi comes with his disciples there, Mukunda, who knew the glory of Pundarik, Mukunda tells Gadadhar Pandit, come, I will take you to meet a great devotee. Gadadhar Pandit was a pure devotee since birth. Mahaprabhu became a Vaishnava when he was like 17 years old, but Gadadhar Pandit was a Vaishnava from the beginning. You know, in one sense, little more, one step ahead of Mahaprabhu also. So Mukunda tells Gadadhar Pandit, come with me, I will take you to a great devotee. And Gadadhar Pandit was so happy to meet a great Vaishnava. So they come and meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and Mukunda is introducing Gadadhar to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. This is Gadadhar Pandit, the son of Madhav Mishra, very great devotee. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi is very happy to meet this young boys. So that time Pundarik Vidyanidhi was sitting on a bed, very costly bed, silk cushion on that bed, filled with gold and all kind of costly stones. There were two people who were doing chamar and morpang to Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and there were mirrors on the sides of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi, every now and then he would look into the mirrors and see how his hair is. On his hair was costly sandalwood oil. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi was chewing pan. Generally devotees don't eat. But Pundarik Vidyanidhi was chewing pan. Two people holding that spittoons so that Pundarik Vidyanidhi can spit pan. And Gadadhar Pandit is seeing all this, and Gadadhar Pandit is thinking, what kind of Vaishnava this is? Because Gadadhar Pandit from the beginning he was a renunciate. So his idea of bhakti means Vaishnava should be very simple. So he couldn't understand. In his mind he started to offend Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So Mukunda, who could understand what is happening in the heart of Gadadhar, he started to chant this verse. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala Kutam. How Krishna is so merciful that Krishna gave liberation to Putana. This Putana who came to kill Krishna, because she came with the mood that let me feed Krishna, this motherly mood. Krishna said, let me make her the mother in the spiritual world, Dhatri. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi, when he heard this verse that Mukunda was chanting, Mukunda was very expert in singing, very beautiful voice he had. When Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this verse, tears of ecstasy started to flow. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi started to roll on the ground, he started to tear his clothes, he had all jewelry on his body, he started to throw that jewelry. And from that elevated seat, he fell on the ground and crashed. 10 people were trying to control Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they couldn't control him. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi was crying and crying. Krishna is so merciful. Krishna gave deliverance to Putana, but I am so sinful that Krishna didn't deliver me. And when Gadadhar Pandit was seeing this ecstasy of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Gadadhar thought I have made a very big offense. I have offended a very great soul. So Gadadhar told Mukunda, my dear Mukunda, you are my well-wisher. You saved me by chanting this verse. Otherwise I would have offended him more. And Gadadhar Pandit tells Mukunda, my desire is, I want to take Diksha from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi, after 6 hours of going unconscious, he gets up. That was his level of ecstasy. And Gadadhar Pandit has so much tears seeing the love of Pundarik. And Mukunda tells Pundarik that Gadadhar wants to be your disciple. And Pundarik is so happy. He tells, that to have a disciple like Gadadhar is a successful life. And Pundarik says, very soon I will initiate Gadadhar Pandit. So the Chaitanya Bhagavat explains that when Pundarik Vidyanidhi was there in Navadvipa, one night he came to meet Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu was doing Kirtan in Srivas Angan, Pundarik Vidyanidhi comes there. And the devotees have never seen Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Mahaprabhu, as soon as he sees Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Mahaprabhu embraces Pundarik Vidyanidhi and says, Pundarik, my father, I have finally seen you today. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is actually Vrishabhanu Maharaj in Krishna Leela. And Mahaprabhu is Radharani also, Radha Bhav. So just like Radharani's father is Vrishabhanu, so first time Mahaprabhu is seeing Pundarik in this pastime. And Mahaprabhu is embracing Pundarik for a long time. And Mahaprabhu introduces Pundarik to all the devotees and says, this Pundarik Vidyanidhi is an incarnation of love of Godhead. He is come in this world to distribute love of Godhead. And in this way, Mahaprabhu is glorifying Pundarik. So that time, Gadadhar Pandit tells Mahaprabhu that I want to take initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Mahaprabhu says, okay, please take initiation. So this is the pastime that happens in Srivas. One time, there was one very great devotee of the Lord called Saranga Thakur. Mahaprabhu was a very great associate. So Mahaprabhu repeatedly would tell Saranga Thakur, please make disciples. Because Mahaprabhu's mood is, Mahaprabhu wanted all his followers to preach this message. When Mahaprabhu comes to Kurmagram, this part of India, Andhra, Telangana, Kurmagram, Mahaprabhu meets this Kurma Brahman. And this Kurma Brahman wanted to, he was a Grahastha. Kurma Brahman just wanted to give up everything and go with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu tells him no. Mahaprabhu gives Kurma Brahman two instructions. These two instructions are very important for Grahasthas. Mahaprabhu tells him, Aiche baat kabur na kariba, grihe rahi Krishna naam nirantara laiva. So Mahaprabhu tells Kurma Brahman, don't give up your family life. You have taken responsibility, stay at home, but continuously chant Hare Krishna. First instruction. And the second famous instruction Mahaprabhu gives is, Jare teke tare kare Krishna upadesh, Amara agya Guru Mahan taragi desh. Mahaprabhu tells him, second thing, whoever you meet, you preach about Krishna. So Mahaprabhu in one sense wanted all his followers, whether brahmachari or grahasthas, to push on this Krishna conscious movement, to become preachers. This center is so wonderful that there is no resident brahmachari here, no one here, but the grahasthas are running the center. So this is the mood that Mahaprabhu wanted, that everyone takes some responsibility to push on. So Mahaprabhu comes and tells Saranga Thakur, you become a guru and accept disciples. So Saranga Thakur, being a devotee, was very humble. He didn't want to become a guru. But finally, because Mahaprabhu was telling him again and again, Saranga decides, okay, tomorrow morning, whoever I see first, I will give him Diksha. Generally what happens, the disciple comes to the guru and chooses, I want to take Diksha. But here the guru is deciding, whoever comes first, I will give Diksha. He is choosing the disciples. So Saranga next day morning, he goes to take bath in Ganga and he sees someone floating and coming and touching him. So Saranga says, this is the first guy, I will give him Diksha. This fellow was a dead person. Dead body was floating in Ganga and came and touched him. So Saranga didn't know that this is a dead body. He chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the ears of this person. And this person gets up. So therefore, Harinam is called second birth. Like getting Mahamantra actually get a rebirth. This pastime literally happens to all of us. So this boy, this person got up and Saranga Thakur named this person as Chaitanya Murari. Because Krishna gave him new life. And this Chaitanya Murari, he said, my dear Guru, I was dead. You gave me a new life, my life is for you. So the parents of Chaitanya Murari came and told him, come home. This Chaitanya Murari said, my body was already dead, this is the second life. This life is for my Guru. He didn't go home only. And he started to preach. Saranga Thakur accepted only few disciples, but Chaitanya Murari was a very powerful preacher. He would go, because he had already experienced death, it was like a new birth, he was fearless. He would go to tigers and preach. He would kick a tiger and say, chant Hare Krishna. And he would make a tiger as disciple. He would come to the village preaching, sitting on the tiger. If you do this, you become very famous immediately. So Mahaprabhu's formula is, do something so special that automatically you become famous. Nityananda Prabhu, this was his mood. The mood of Nityananda. When Nityananda and Haridas Thakur saw Jagai Madai, Nityananda was thinking, this is the best candidate. Because Mahaprabhu at that time was not very famous. He was famous, not very famous. Nityananda was thinking, if Jagai and Madai become Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Andolan become all the more famous. Therefore, Nityananda did that. So Prabhupada would always say, devotees must think big, dream big. So Chaitanya Murari was such a powerful preacher, he made thousands of people into disciples. So in this way, Mahaprabhu does a lot of beautiful pastimes in Navadvipa. One of exactly where the house of Saranga Murari is, Saranga Thakur, in Namgachi, Modadrumadvi, is also the house of Vasudeva Datta. They were like neighbors. Shivanand Singh and sometimes they were neighbors. So Mahaprabhu, when he meets Vasudeva Datta in Jagannath Puri, Vasudeva Datta was so compassionate. He tells Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, let the karma of everyone come upon me and let everyone go back to the spiritual world. This was the mood of Vasudeva Datta. Srila Prabhupada in that purport explains, Jesus Christ had this kind of compassion. Jesus Christ, he was ready to take the sins of all his followers. But Prabhupada explains here that Vasudeva Datta's compassion was 1,000 times more than that of Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ is ready to accept sins of his disciples, of his followers. But Vasudeva Datta was ready to accept sins of anyone and everyone. And he's thinking, let everyone get delivered. Mahaprabhu was so touched by this mood. This is what we are discussing. The mood of a Krishna conscious movement is to dream big, and even if you are not able to do big preaching, at least the dream should be big. At least dreaming to all of us can do. Vasudeva Datta had this great mood that let everyone go back to the spiritual world. Till that time there is no rest for us to take. Till everyone actually takes up the process of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada was in Mayapur, and Prabhupada was telling his disciples, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and others, that this Mayapur I have created home for all of you all. Whole life you all preach, and when you have become old, you will come and retire here. Prabhupada is telling all the disciples. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj is asking Prabhupada, you are already old, why don't you retire in Mayapur? Prabhupada said, for me there is no retirement. I will never retire. That time Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, we will also never retire. We will also just keep preaching. So this compassion of Vasudeva Datta is so very crucial, so very cardinal to our Sampradaya. Mahaprabhu tells Vasudeva Datta, my dear Vasudeva, you have so much love for Krishna, I am your sold out property. Wherever you want to sell me, I am ready to be sold. In this way, Mahaprabhu, through all his various devotees, is teaching so many pastimes. Mahaprabhu, when he was in Bodhrumdvi, all the devotees were doing kirtan. And in those days, like now we have like a kitchen setup, here also there is a kitchen setup. We know that after satsang there is prasad. Again, you announce a program to tell devotees, please come for satsang, no prasad at the end. How many devotees will come, you don't know. Okay. But Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan in Navadvipa, there was no kitchen facility. There was no kitchen facility in Navadvipa at least. Right? In Jagannath Puri also there was no kitchen facility. They would just eat Jagannath Anand Bazar Prasad. No kitchen facility as such. So one time the devotees were doing kirtan and the devotees all became very hungry. Mahaprabhu takes a mango seed, plants it on the ground, and right in front of all devotees' eyes, a huge mango tree comes. And this tree had unlimited mangoes. Huge, big mangoes. And the speciality of these mangoes were no skin, no seed. Have you ever seen a mango like this? Right? So this was the speciality of Mahaprabhu's mangoes. No seed, no skin, only nectar. And what is this mango? This mango is Harinama Sankirtan. Golokera Prema Dana Harinama Sankirtan. This is the nectar that we are looking for. Harinam, having darshan of deities, Bhagavad But Mahaprabhu was thinking, if I just stay in Navadvip, the Sankirtan movement will be only till Navadvip, it will not grow further. So Mahaprabhu, in order to push this mission further, he takes the process of the order of sannyas and gives up his travel. So Mahaprabhu is such a merciful avatar. If Mahaprabhu didn't take that sannyas order, we wouldn't be sitting here. Because Mahaprabhu did that step, we are sitting here. If Srila Prabhupada didn't take sannyas, we wouldn't be having ISKCON at all. Right? It was just like, we were discussing this point that it was because of Chand Kazi that Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan went ahead, because of Duryodhan Vidura went ahead. It was because of Srila Prabhupada's wife that we are having ISKCON in one sense. If her wife didn't create some issues there at that point, Prabhupada would be a grahastha at home and this Krishna consciousness wouldn't have spread so much. So Prabhupada took sannyas, Mahaprabhu took sannyas. The whole mood was to preach. Therefore Mahaprabhu is the most merciful avatar. I'll end with one pastime. There is not to speak. I'll end with one pastime. Very soon now is Ram Navami coming. Gaur Purnima just got over. Now Ram Navami is coming. So we are in between phase. Between Gaur Purnima and Ram Navami. Transition phase. So I will tell you one story which connects Ram Leela to Gaur Leela. And then we'll end with this. I was telling you this pastime of this place called Modar Drumandri, Mamdachi, where Saran Thakur stayed, Vasudev Dutt stayed. This place is called Modar Drumandri because long back there was a tree. Drum is a tree. Modar is a very intoxicating tree, a very beautiful tree in this island, Modar Drumandri. When Lord Ram was in his Vanvas for 14 years, he comes along with Sita Maiya to this place. And Lord Ram was sitting below this tree with Sita. And Lord Ram is smiling. So Sita Devi is asking Ram, why are you smiling? So Lord Ram says, this is Navadvip. In Kali Yuga, I will come here again as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And my dear Sita, you will come as Vishnu Priya. And Lord Ram is telling Sita, in that pastime, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will get married to you, Vishnu Priya, but I will leave you and take sannyas. So Mother Sita is asking Ram, if you have to anyway take sannyas, why do you get married? Why do you put your wife in trouble? So Lord Ram says, no, there is a reason for it. Lord Ram says, when I love someone, I give them my association. But when I really love someone, I go away from them. So that they can experience separation. So Mahaprabhu says, Lord Ram is saying, I will give you this anubhav of viraha. And then Ram says, in this Leela, in Treta Yuga, as Ram, I will stay home and you will go to the forest. That's what happens, sir. Lord Ram stays back in Ayodhya and sends Sita to the forest, banished. Lord Ram says, in Chaitanya Leela, you will stay home and I will go to the forest. Lord Ram says, in Ram Leela, when Sita went to the forest, Lord Ram made a deity of Sita, golden deity of Sita, and he worshipped that deity. So Lord Ram says, in Kali Yuga, when I will go to the forest, you will stay at home as Vishnu Priya and you will worship my deity. In this way, this is the connection between Ram Leela and Gaur Leela. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Ram Ramachandra ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Please go.
Thank you so much, wonderful pastimes. Prabhu, generally, is the like Shiva started pastimes, he is never complain. Whatever happens, we were chastised, so many nonsense. He will never complain. But in the material point of view, if we allow others to exploit, and that is also wrong. How to understand it.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah, definitely we can't imitate great souls also. We have to be honest about our own levels. This pastime that Prabhupada tells us of, to explain this point, how to deal. One time Narad Muni preached to one serpent. You know the story? The snake. And Narad Muni made the snake into a Vaishnava. And this snake would, very poisonous snake, the snake would keep biting anyone and everyone. So Narad comes and tells the snake, this is not good. You should not unnecessarily harm people. Give up this whole thing. So the snake becomes a Vaishnava and says, okay, I will not do anything. So the snake wears kanti mala, puts tilak, becomes a Vaishnava snake. So Narad Muni after some time comes to do follow up, how is the disciple progressing? So the snake says, Bhakti is going on very well, but people are torturing me a lot. People keep coming and throwing stones on me, doing everything, because they know I am a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is Pranadapi Sunichena. They know I am not going to do anything, that's why they keep doing all this. So Narad tells the snake, I told you not to bite anyone, but I didn't tell you don't show your fangs. Scare people, but don't bite them. So it's like that. You have to be little practical also. That's why we find this pastime na. Mahaprabhu, when this Sankirtan movement was being affected, Mahaprabhu actually took the Sankirtan out. So the principle basically of Trinadavi is, at least on your level you can try to practice it. But when something is getting an obstacle for Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, that is not the time to practice Trinadavi. That time you have to be very, very strong. So I think we have to balance it. The principle is of tolerance, but also we need to understand that we have a certain limitations of it. We don't immediately jump. We can gradually raise our levels. Pray to Krishna to raise our levels. In the practice. Anything else? Thank you very much. Very happy and grateful to be here in the association of all the wonderful people.